Hi YouTube. I thought I'd just talk about a few high-end products that I've bought in the last month or so. I've been having a bit of a blitz from the different collections, things that I really wanted, and seeing how they kind of live up to the hype. One of them that I'm going to talk about, I think I've featured probably in a haul about a month ago of Tom Ford and Chanel products I bought from the summer collection, and it's this one, the Tom Ford Fire Lust. I think it's called an Illuminator. Yeah, Skin Illuminator. So that's what it looks like in the bottle, and that was the item that I originally bought from the summer collection from Tom Ford. As I'll talk about in a moment, I've recently given in to one of the cream eyeshadows as well. I looked at those initially and didn't buy them, but I've gone back and got one. But I've been using the Tom Ford Illuminate quite a lot for the last month because I'm basically obsessed with two things really are very important to me. First of all, my skin. So I, obsessed with finding good foundation or something that's giving me coverage of now my age spots and red bits on my chin and cheeks, that doesn't look cakey, that doesn't overemphasize my pores, which are quite enlarged around my nose and chin again. I used to have combination skin. My skin is basically quite dry now that I'm older. And then when I've got the coverage, I like a really dewy rather than a matte finish, especially around the cheek and eye area. So I'm always on the lookout for good illuminators, highlighters, things that make older skin look fresh without being glittery, although sometimes I'm not averse to a bit of glitter. So this was a product that had got very good write-ups, and I do like it. I'm using it up quite quickly. It comes out a sort of coppery liquid, and you kind of dab it on, or you could mix it in with your moisturizer or foundation, and it gives a very, very subtle sheen. It totally really blends in to your makeup, to the extent that actually when I put it on my cheek over contouring or blusher, I prefer to kind of pat it in, or it kind of goes in too far. And I suppose the product that I would compare it with, although it looks a different colour, is the Chanel Tan de Chanel Fluid Illuminator, which is a more bronzy colour, and doesn't blend in, I feel, quite as much as the Tom Ford one. It's a less subtle sheen because it's more coloured on my fair skin. I do use this more mixing it in with a foundation. I think it gives, particularly when you've got a bit more colour in the summer, quite a good sheen. So they're both good products. I think probably I would prefer the Tom Ford one, just that the colour is better for me and it's more versatile. But they're both good products, and I like them both. I don't regret either of them. I gave into the Tom Ford cream colour. I've only been using this for a couple of days. So far I'm liking it very much. Escapade, which is the champagne one, I probably would have bought if I'd decided at the right time, is now sold out in most stores. So I ended up getting Pink Haze. And it is in colour very, very similar to Chanel's Mercier. Now the texture of the two, you see they look... the Chanel looks lighter in the pot. The texture is very different. It's dried out quite a lot. It's much more shimmery, the Chanel one, than the much more creamy. You need the tiniest bit. It's more like a mousse, the Tom Ford one, and goes on a lot more russet. I like them both. I would say the Chanel one I tend to wear on its own. It's just very, very easy, if I haven't got time to do a full eye, to bung that on the eyelid with nothing else. It doesn't give me much depth in the crease, but then I'd just put a little line around the eye, mascara, and it's quite a good look. The Tom Ford one so far I have been using actually as a kind of base for other shadows. I've been using the Tom Ford Enchanted quad on top of it. It looks really, really good, and in this extremely hot weather I would have to say it's holding very, very well indeed, not creasing 8-10 hours wear, which is very, very impressive. That's where both of these products, to my mind, win out over the Maybelline Colour Tattoos, which are very good and I do like, and I do use them primarily as bases for shadow. They are less subtle colorations, but they are good, and you can build on them, but they do crease on my eyelids, even with a primer, during the working day. So they're not as good as these two, but, you know, they're much cheaper, so, you know, maybe worth it for you. Then on the highlighter front, this is my newest. This is from Laura Mercier's fall collection. I think this will be a sellout. It's the Spellbound Face Illuminator. This gorgeous, wavy, really gold in the pan. It doesn't feel that soft when you apply it, and goes on as a real peachy gold. Quite subtle. So far I've been wearing it with a brush, and just gives a really subtle glow, but you could pack it on, as I am there, a little more to give a bit more gold. It's really nice in the summer. I'd be quite interested to see how it works in with the fall colours, because I do feel it's quite goldeny. And the other powder that I bought a few weeks ago is the Kevin Aucoin Celestial Powder Candlelight, which the blogists are raving about. This is a much more champagne silvery, and it does give a very nice illumination, but there is a tremendous fallout from the powder. I kind of feel I like it more in the evening for some reason. I'm still experimenting with it, and I think I prefer so far the Laura Mercier one, but you know, they're nice. You're trying to sort of compare. I'm not sure I've got anything that compares with the kind of silveriness of the Celestial Powder, although Laura Mercier's skin finish, which comes in a tube and is a liquid, gives a similar kind of liquidy glow. I think the Spellbound powder is not dissimilar. It's more subtle, more rosy than Amber Lights, the Dior one that was so popular 2 years ago, but they're in the same ballpark. But I mean, the Dior one's expensive as well, so I'm not really offering you there a significantly cheaper drugstore option. The other thing that I have just, well, two things I've just started to try are a foundation by Dior Snow, made for the Asian market. At the moment you can only get it in Selfridges over in the UK, and I think a few outlets in the United States I've seen. It's a whitening, brightening foundation with a very high SPF for a foundation, 30, which is pleasing to me. I like a good SPF. I've worn it today. I will say I've got the palest shade, well, not in number, there's number 10, but that's kind of more rosy than this number 11, which is the one I went for. It's lasted very well today. The coverage is quite light for a foundation. I needed quite a bit of concealer on my chin and around my nose as well, and I did feel it slightly accentuated my pores when I put it on, although it oxidised quite well later on. So I'm kind of, it's expensive, kind of still deciding about that. In terms of the flawless look, I would say I still prefer Chanel and By Terry, and possibly even Burberry to this. But as I say, it's early days. And then the BB cream I eventually went for. I've tried drugstore ones and not really got on with them, but this one is Lingerie de Peau by Guerlain. And again, good last, not brilliant coverage. I feel it kind of feels a bit drying, which seems bizarre given it's a treatment cream. And I'm not 100% behind the rose fragrance of it. Some people love rose, I'm not so keen. It's not unpleasant, but I prefer some of the smells of others. But I will say it gives a very dewy look, which I do like, and it lasted well. I didn't have to touch up yesterday in, to be honest, quite searing heat and humidity in London. So still trying both of those. I'm going on holiday next week. I'm going to take the Lingerie de Peau, probably not the Dior Snow. I'll try that again when I come back in August, but I'll have more to report then. So that's what I've been doing, spending too much money, but hopefully getting some really good core products to make my skin look good, whatever the weather. If you have any ideas for good coverage that's still natural looking of aging skin and super highlighters, I'd be very happy to hear them. And so bye for now.